Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Mr. Anime Reviews. I've had the cold weather bug like so many others around me, but it's okay, I'm feeling up to a review. Today I'm doing Final Approach. It's an anime series that ran in 2004. The problem is, it took me a while to finally approach watching it because the story sounded so rancid. Meet Ryu Mitsuhara. He lives with his sister Akane, and Akane is a familiar name if you've watched Ranma. The story basically follows is, one day they're sitting in their house eating dinner, and then out of nowhere, absolutely out of nowhere, this girl comes crashing through the window, along with a bunch of other government people in black suits and neckties and sunshades. And she tells Ryu, she says, "Hey, I'm your new fiance." And he's like, "What? You just came crashing through my window." He's like, "I don't even know your name." We later find out her name is Masuda Shizuka. Here's where the story starts. Basically, when she comes crashing through the window, and the government agents, she tells Ryu that there's a secret government project called the RTP. Basically what they do is, apparently Japan is so low on population that the government has to arrange marriages through this RTP program. So the government has arranged her to marry Ryu and have kids because of underpopulation. That's the premise. So this is Amiho and Mika. Amiho's the one with the bluish hair, and Mika's the one with the blonde hair. And, you know, Amiho is basically the straight shooter. She likes Ryu. She's got a thing for him, and he's got a thing for her. And we also find out later that Amiho also has an arranged marriage. But you don't find that out till episode, I don't know, 3 or 4, so it's not a big spoiler. You find it out eventually. So Ryu and her kind of have a relation, even though they don't. They're both engaged to people they don't want to marry because of the government. So it kind of sucks because they kind of like each other. Mika is a dumb blonde. Now, I don't think that hair color classifies whether you're dumb or not, but she's dumb and she's a blonde, so dumb blonde. She gets the title. She wants to be a voice actress, and you get to hear all about her and her annoying voice throughout the entire series. Final Approach was directed by Takashi Yamamoto. Now, the problem with that is it was his first actual directing job that he had full control over. You can tell because it's kind of a novice job. The budget on Final Approach also seems low. Now, I went back to see what Mr. Yamamoto has done before, and all he's done is small direction jobs on particular episodes of no-name animes, and he's done key animation. Well, you can definitely tell he's never worked with background work, because the backgrounds in Final Approach are so bad. They're almost as bad as my background. You know, the tiger blanket. That's not very interesting. Well, the backgrounds in Final Approach aren't either, but I won't take points off for bad animation. The reason is because the budget might not have been there, and you can almost tell. Final Approach is only 13 episodes long, and you might think that's not that bad, but guess what? Each episode is only 13 minutes. Akane, we talked about her before. She is the little sister of Ryu, and one thing that just really upsets me about the fact is that her and Ryu have completely different takes on Masuda, which is Ryu, you know, girl that crashed through the window. Masuda, crash through window girl, fiance of Ryu. Akane loves her. Why? That doesn't make any sense. If I lived with a girl, well, if I lived with my sister for, 17 years, and then all of a sudden this girl comes out of nowhere and wants to live in my house, you think my sister would be okay with that? No. Now, the comedy in Final Approach, well, it's pretty simple. It's a bunch of physical humor, and it's not funny. For instance, if I took this piece of paper, well, this is a napkin, but we're going to pretend it's paper. Well, it kind of is. And I wrote 10 random jokes on it. 10 jokes, and I read them off to you all. And you only laughed at 1 or 2. Would you say that I'm funny? No, you would say he's not funny. He's not funny at all. Just like Final Approach. There's nothing witty about the dialogue. There's nothing humorous. It's a bunch of physical humor. Comedy is not easy to pull off. You think you're just going to get out there and fall down? You think you can just get out there and run into a doorway? Well, if you're Chris Farley, you might be able to get away with it. But not Final Approach. Final Approach is finally done. It's not funny. The character development is horribly shallow. If you go into this expecting a good show, you won't get one. You won't like it. If you go into this expecting a retarded anime that doesn't even try, you're going to love Final Approach. Unfortunately, I didn't come in here with number 2 in mind. So with that, I give Final Approach a shockingly low 3 out of 10.